Otherwise, we will get started. We're going to be using a Spotify playlist this evening. It is just called Restorative Yoga, and it's from my Spotify, Sammy.fussy22. I'll put that over in the comment section so you guys can access that at your own free will. But we will begin in Shavasana, so you can make all the way down to your back. Allow your arms and legs to extend long. And just as you lay down on your back, just start to settle in. Take a few breaths here, kind of wiggle around, fidget, get anything that's still within your body move in out of your system here, and then make your way to stillness. And as you find stillness, start to breathe deeply into the body, starting to kind of take stock or inventory, if you will, what with you have moving through you or what's kind of on your mind as you make your way to the present moment. Right off the bat here, maybe you're noticing some areas of tension, of discomfort within the body. We're going to notice those areas in a loving way tonight, letting go of any judgments or expectations. Just meeting yourself where you're at, right here, right now, regardless of how many times you've stepped onto your yoga mat. And breathing deeply into your body, filling up your breath, filling up your body with your breath. And then letting the breath go. As you take these deep inhales into the body, notice where they travel or how they move within you. And then notice how the breaths leave, just the way they came. Feel the belly rise and fall. And feel your body start to sink or soften into the earth. Feeling supported, grounded in the present moment. Breathing deeply into the body. As we become comfortable with the flow of our breath, let's begin to scan the areas of the body, starting at the bottoms of the feet, bringing all the way up through the crown of the head and out the fingertips, just searching for those areas that need some extra love tonight. We're going to work to tailor our practice to best fit those needs, to best reverse kind of the repetitive motion that we engage with every day in our day-to-day. Unwinding tension, letting go of soreness, tightness, letting go of unnecessary tension. So relaxing the jaw, softening the space between the eyebrows. Maybe even thinking about your ears here, letting the ears relax. Really trusting that the earth beneath you will support you, will hold you up right here, right now. And just breathe into that a little bit. If that feels right for you, you can start to think of an intention for your practice, something that will help keep your mind and your body present throughout our movement this evening. Tonight I'll offer up the intention of gratitude, and gratitude specifically towards our earth. You're celebrating Earth Day today. Just give back. Give a little gratitude to all that the earth provides us, to our life, to the life around us. Find some gratitude in your heart for the gifts that this earth provides. As always, if you have a different intention that's really speaking to your heart this evening, please feel free to take that on as your own. Otherwise, we're going to set our intentions together with a cleansing and unifying breath. So we'll begin with the exhale, releasing the air from the lungs. And draw a deep breath in through the nose. Holding that air right here at the top, and see if you can take one more sip of breath in. Holding for 3, releasing in 2. Open mouth, exhale, let it go. Sending the intention out into the world. Let's take another deep breath just like that. This one's just for you this time. Deep breath in through the nose. Holding at the top. Taking just a little bit more in. Open mouth, exhale, let it go. From here, you can continue to stay in your Shavasana posture if you'd like. Just relaxing and breathing into your body. But if you are ready to take a little bit of movement this evening, let's start to wiggle the fingers and toes. Nod the head side to side, noticing any tension in the neck as you move. Starting to roll out the wrists and the ankles. And when you're ready, inhale, float the arms overhead to take a full body stretch. Press the feet away from the arms to breathe space into your spine. On your exhale, we're rolling to our left side, placing our head on our arm and just drawing the knees in towards the chest. Taking a fetal position here, taking a moment before we enter the practice to really connect with that intention. With your right hand placed on the mat or on the ground, feel that connection between you and the earth. Extend some gratitude. When you're ready, press the chest up, finding a seated position facing your screen. And making this seated posture whatever that means for you. So maybe that's extended legs, maybe that's stacking your legs in more of a fire log position rather than the cross-legged pose. Find an easy seated posture, whatever that means. If you would like to support this pose, we are going to be here for a few breaths. You can feel free to place your pillow or your prop underneath your seat. This will just give your hips a little bit extra space, helping you maybe sit a little bit taller or sink a little deeper into the pose. Again, choose something that serves you in your practice. My suggestions are just that, just suggestions here. And then finding a strong, straight spine, maybe closing the eyes to really feel yourself orient in this space. Maybe slightly shifting the body forward and back, side to side. Really finding that grounded sensation with your sit bones and the earth. Maybe move some extra muscle out from beneath the sit bones, giving yourself that deeper connection. And then with our hands on our knees here, we're going to start to slowly circle the chest. So we're just starting to slowly warm up the muscles in the low back, maybe starting to stretch out those transverse abdominis. Just breathing deeply here. You can let your head and your neck join in this movement. Let it be big or small, whatever feels right for you here. Just continuing to breathe. With our sit bones firmly connected with the ground here, we are really focusing on grounding, sinking into the earth. So as you do so, extend some gratitude for that connection. Finding gratitude in your heart and in your being, just every part of you. Feel that gratitude. It feels good. And when it feels right for you, we're just reversing the direction of our circles. If you're taking those large circles on one side, see if you can take that same or at least relatively same size on the other. Just let the body take you through these movements. As you start to ground in, you're going to start to feel that connection. Tap into your intuition within the body. The body, again, will guide you. And when it feels right for you, we're just going to find stillness. Hands are still resting on the knees. If you'd prefer to bring them into your lap, feel free to do so. With the eyes closed, really feel that connection with your sit bones and the earth. Notice if there's any differences here now that we've circled. Just notice. And then working up the spine, maybe locating your hips, your pelvic area with your hands. Working to stack your pelvis right on top of the sit bones. Moving up the spine, we find our rib cage just hovering right over the pelvis. Shoulders are hovering right over the hips. And the ear lobes are hovering right over our shoulders. When we do this, we have a subtle tuck of the chin here, a little bit of an extension to the back of the neck. Feel the lengthening in the spine. Almost like you were a big piece of rope. You've got your roots or your knot connecting you to the earth, your sit bones here. And then you have this big rope extending up through the crown of the head. Picture someone coming by and just pulling your rope just a little bit higher up, stretching out those fibers. That's what we're doing in our spine here. See if you can feel that growth, the stretch, extension in your spine. The shoulders soften out of the ears, down the back. Maybe even feeling a little subtle lift of the heart, pressing or popping the heart up just a little bit. From here, we're going to start to stretch out our neck muscles, bringing our chin up towards the sky on the inhale. Exhale, bring the chin down to the chest. Inhale, chin presses towards the sky. Exhale, chin to the chest. Another one just like that. Inhale, chin to sky. Option here to intensify the stretch, placing both hands on the chest and just applying a little bit of downward pressure here. With our chin extended, slightly tip your gaze over to the left to shift the stretch into the right part of the throat. And then back through neutral and tip the chin to the right. Feel a stretch come to the left. Back to neutral, release the hands, chin down to the chest. Here, option to interlace the fingers and bring them to the back of the neck or the head and just apply a little bit of downward pressure. And keeping your hands and arms as they are. Inhale, lift the chest, lift your gaze. Almost like you're opening up. And then release the hands back down to the knees. Now from here, I'm going to shift a little bit closer. We're going to take our facial massage stretches. This is the perfect season for this, with all of the grass and new flowers budding for spring. There's a lot of seasonal allergies going around. We're getting a little bit of congestion in our sinuses. So this practice is a really awesome one to do, yes, in a yoga class, but also just at home on your own time. This is something that I like to practice daily, and I would highly, highly recommend it for you as well. We're going to start by just bringing our thumbs underneath the eyebrows. So there's a little bit of a soft spot here in the crease by your eye, kind of right underneath that brow bone. Just press into that. That's a little pressure point here. For me, I can already feel I had a little bit of a headache earlier today. So just pressing into this point is actually relieving a lot of that tension already. And then just to amp up that tension release, we're going to bring our pointer finger above the brow. We're going to slowly start to pinch our fingers towards one another as we walk across the brow bone. Now I slightly alternate my fingers here, pinching right then left as I walk across. Do something that works for you. This is just kind of how I've always practiced it. There's no right or wrong here. This is kind of just, again, letting the body guide. We are working with a few acupressure points. So I'll point those out as we move through this practice, but just know if it feels good, it's probably doing something good for you. If it feels bad, maybe that isn't the right stretch or the right pressure. And then from here, when you feel good on the eyebrows, feel like all of that tension has started to soften. Let's bring our pointer and our middle finger to the temples, applying light pressure here, starting to circle the fingers. And of course, reversing the direction. Always like to find balance, side to side, directionally. And then from here, I like to keep my pointer fingers where they are just for balance. Then bring the thumbs to the corner of the nose right where they meet the cheek here. This is another pressure point. And we're gonna bring our hands to the outer parts of the face. I like to grab behind the ears. And then pressing the thumbs into your cheekbones. Start to trace the cheekbones up towards the ears. So following that cheekbone. And then again, there's a nice little pressure point right here by the ears. You can hit that with this and take this a few times. This to me is the biggest one for sinus pressure. I think this one is just awesome at clearing all of that out. So what we're actually doing here is clearing the lymph in our lymphatic system. Our lymphatic system is in charge of clearing the body from sickness, illness, that kind of thing. So it has lymph and lymph nodes within the body. Our lymph nodes collect the sickness and hold on to it so that it doesn't spread to the other areas of the body. But the only way to actually clear out the lymph is to physically move it through the system. So what we're doing right now is physically moving that lymph through our lymphatic system, clearing it out of the body. Can also refer to this practice as lymphatic drainage. There's a lot of different names out there. So then when you're ready with this process, as you start to feel like you can breathe a little bit better, we're gonna bring our hands to our ears, starting right at the top where they meet the face. And bringing both of our hands here, just pinching the ears and starting to draw them out away from the face. So as you can see, my face and my ears are starting to turn a little red. This is the release of that tension. So we're actually physically moving that out. There's a little bit of heat building maybe. Maybe you're starting to feel an energetic release. You just gently tug the ears out. I also like to press on our tragus point here. Again, this is just a nice little pressure point. And then you can even slide your fingers behind your ears, pressing into the skull. And then one more awesome face stretch or face massage technique here. We're going to make peace fingers or bunny rabbits with our fingers here, and then we're going to start to bend the fingers. So we're creating kind of this V with our fingers. Now we're going to take that V and line it up with each other so that they're kind of butting heads here. And slowly, as we pinch our fingers towards one another like this, we're going to trace it along the jawline. Again, up towards the ears. So not only does this actually like physically define your jaw a little bit more, it also is really muscularly working those areas of the body. So we're actually stretching out those jaw muscles, all of that. And again, clearing out more of that lymph. When this feels good, we can bring our hands to the back of the neck and just slowly work that down. Maybe kind of tracing the spine or at least going behind the spine, pressing in to those points that feel good, and then massaging out the shoulders if that feels good for you too. So self-care is kind of all about letting your body guide what you need, listening to what your body is asking for, and then responding. So full permission here to go off script or off whatever you call this, but this is your practice. Let it be just like that. It's okay if you want to stay doing this a little bit longer. It's okay if you'd like to move on to something else. If you are ready to move on to something else, we're going to roll through our seated posture and make our way to tabletop on our mat. So finding tabletop, hands are stacked underneath the shoulders. These are stacked under the hips. For today's practice, you can either curl the toes under here or you can press the tops of the feet down into the mat. Again, it's whatever you would prefer. We are going to draw the core up in towards the spine to protect our back here. And then we're going to just flow through some organic movement to start. So maybe that's side to side with the hips. Maybe that's forward and back. Maybe that's some barrel rolls with the chest. We're doing whatever feels good here. Let your body guide you. And then making your way back to that neutral tabletop, engaging the core, pressing down through the fingers here, really hard through those L's and J's of the hands, Feel a little bit of a lift through the palm. On your inhale, drop your belly, lift your gaze, cow pose, open up the heart, draw the shoulders back. Exhale, roll the spine, press away from the earth for cow. Cat pose. Inhale to cow. Exhale to cat. Round the spine, press away. One more here. Inhale, cow pose. Exhale, cat pose. Now from this position, we're going to start to build a little bit of a flow sequence off of this posture. So we're going to start with an inhale, dropping belly, lifting gaze for our cow pose. Then on the exhale, we're going to round the spine, pressing away from the earth, cat pose. Now from here, keeping the rounded spine, we're slowly going to start to walk the hands back towards the knees. As we make our way back towards the knees, engaging the core, we're slowly rolling up the spine to come to a kneeling posture. If you would prefer, you can slide some extra support or cushion underneath the knees. And then inhale, arms rise overhead. On your exhale, cactusing the arms. We're opening up the chest here. You can stay in that kneeling position just so you can see me here. Then inhale, reach the arms high. Exhale, make your way back down to tabletop. From tabletop, sink the hips back for child's pose. Take a moment here, catch your breath, breathe in, breathe out. On that next inhale, make your way back up to tabletop. Dropping belly, lifting gaze, cow pose. Exhale, cat pose, round the spine. Walk the hands back to the knees. Inhale, slowly roll up. Arms sweeping overhead. Exhale, cactusing the arms, opening up the chest, pressing with the hips, pressing the hips forward as we engage the core here. Inhale, reaching arms high. Exhale, walking hands back down to tabletop, making your way to child's pose. Sink the hips back, drop the head down. Let's do one more round of this. Feel free to take your own pace for that. When you're ready, inhaling up to cow, dropping belly, lifting gaze. Exhaling to cat. Walking the hands back to the knees. Inhale, slowly rise. Exhale, cactus the arms, engage the core, press the hips forward. Inhale, reach high. Exhale, child's pose. And taking some extra time in this child's pose now. Make this pose feel good and sustainable within your body. If that means giving your hips some extra space, taking the knees out wide, please feel free to do so. If you're looking for even more support in the low back, you can take the knees in close and extend the arms long. You can also support this pose with your pillow, using that underneath your chest or your head here, whatever works best for you. Wherever you are, we're breathing deeply. Just surrendering to the earth. Again, while you're here, send some gratitude to that support beneath you, around you. In child's pose here, starting to feel a little bit of an opening in the low back. As your hips sink onto the heels, the crown of the head extends energetically towards the top edge of the mat. Softening the shoulders out of the ears. Unclench the jaw. Relax the muscles of the face. Breathing deeply. Feeling the breath coming in and out of the body. Just being right here in this moment. And as you start to soften here, let your body sink a little deeper. Let go of the need to hold on to that unnecessary tension. And breathe into the areas that maybe need a little extra love. You can rescan your body while you're here, checking in. Maybe noticing new areas or old areas that maybe have resolved themselves already. And again, we're noticing all of these things within our body in a loving and non-judgmental way. So like we kind of mentioned earlier, there is no right or wrong here. We're just listening to the body, letting the body tell us what it needs, and then responding. Feel free to stay here in child's pose for a while longer if you would like. You're ready to move out. Slowly walk the chest up. Make your way back to tabletop. From our tabletop pose, we're dropping the hips down to either side and bringing the legs out in front. We're going to start this evening with a tree trunk posture in honor of our beautiful Earth Day. It also is a great posture for our back stretches, as well as some of our other postures we're going to be taking later on. So to start with tree trunk, I'm just going to face the camera so you can see better. We're spreading our legs a little bit wider than hips width distance. So taking a stance that is comfortable for you. As you can see, we are going to be using our legs as our arm rests. Excuse me. So find something that feels good. From here, we're just going to inhale, roll those shoulders up, back, and down. Find a nice, straight, strong spine. And then from here, we're slowly going to start to work our belly towards our thighs. So keeping that strong, straight spine, but then coming to the edge of our sensation. When we find that edge of the stretch, we're going to let the head and neck relax and hang heavy. And from here, just breathing deeply. Starting to work in towards more of our forward folded positions. Letting the body melt onto itself here. In your tree trunk pose, your seat are your roots. So feel that connection beneath your seat. Again, extend some gratitude here. You are supported, you are held, you are cared for. Taking just a couple more breaths here. Relaxing again any unnecessary tension, like your clenched jaw or tensed eyebrows. Letting that go. When you're ready, slowly inhaling up. Taking your time to transition, walking the chest up. And from here, we're going to bend our left leg in towards our body, extending the right leg long. So coming into a half kind of forward folded position. Extend through that leg. Again, move some extra muscle out from underneath the sit bones. Get that nice connection with the ground. And we're going to start here with just a basic forward fold over our right leg. So you can see you have a couple options here. You can use a pillow for some support under this leg, putting it right underneath the knee, and then letting your leg rest in that way. Otherwise, you can take a more active position and press through the heel, drawing the toes back towards the body. It's going to lengthen the back line of the legs. So again, whatever you need tonight. And then bringing our hands into heart center. Inhale, sweep the arms overhead. On the exhale, hinging at the hips, keeping that nice, strong, straight spine, folding over the leg. You can reach towards your toes, maybe grab them if you have access, but you don't feel like you have to grab hold and pull yourself into a position. Really working for that belly to thigh connection rather than just hunching over your leg and trying to get your toes. So breathing deeply here. And then finding the length within your breath. So as you breathe in more space, more air, finding where you can put that within the stretch. So finding where you can soften, maybe grow, stretch a little deeper. And then just continuing to breathe here. And slowly on your next inhale, making your way back up. Sorry, my cat. Okay. So then from this next variation of this stretch, we're again going to keep our leg just as it is. If you have that leg supported, that's totally great as well. And then from here, hands are coming into heart center again. This time we're going to twist our torso so that we're more in line with this bent knee. So we're kind of straight or horizontal with this leg extended out to the right. From here, we're going to, again, inhale, sweep the arms overhead. But on the exhale, our right arm is going to come to the inside of our right leg and start to reach towards the toes. Finding, again, the edge of your sensation and keeping our chest open, this left arm reaches overhead. So we're reaching towards our toes, but not necessarily collapsing to reach our toes, trying to keep the torso open. I also find that pressing that right arm into the leg will also help you find a little bit more space in the extension. So we're stretching this low back muscle here. This one is the one that tightens up the most when we are seated all day at work or on the bus, in our cars, wherever you find that seated posture. We're unwinding it right here with this pose. If you'd like, you can shift your gaze up towards the sky. Wherever you're at, just breathing deeply, finding a little bit more space as you find extra space within the body. Taking one more deep breath in here. And staying for your full exhale. On that next inhale, we're going to slowly come up, unwind. This left hand is coming right down by our left hip. From here, our right fingertips are going to start to swirl around our head. We're going to press down into our right heel and our left leg, lifting our hips up, reaching that right arm overhead. So nice side body stretch here, feeling a little bit of a stretch in the hip. Breathing into it. And then exhale, come back down. Now from here, we're just going to switch this stretch to the other side. So we're going to bend our right leg in, extending our left leg long. And if you used a pillow or a prop on the other side underneath your left leg, feel free to do so again on this side just to again work towards balance. If it really doesn't work for you on that side, that's okay as well. If you need the support on this side, again, feel free to use it. Now we'll start with that kind of just generic, straightforward folded position. So hands will start at heart center. We're framing or facing our left leg. Big breath in, sweep arms overhead. Exhale, hinge at the hips, melt, hinge forward. And again, I'm just gonna let my hands rest where they fall and then slowly work a little closer towards the toes. Breathing deeply and finding extra space as we go. I like to think of this pose as more of like the journey rather than the destination. It's not all about touching the toes. It's more about the space that we create on the way. Taking just a couple more deep breaths here. Again, relax your jaw. Soften the eyebrows. And slowly inhale, make your way back up. Hands coming back to heart center. This time we're twisting our torso over towards our right leg to face our bent knee. Big breath in, sweeping the arms overhead. Exhale, reaching left fingertips towards left toes. Right fingertips reach overhead. You may notice differences on one side to the other. For me, this side is usually a little bit more flexible than the other. Just noticing that again in a non-judgmental way. You're exactly how you're supposed to be right here, right now. Keeping our heart open, pressing into our left arm, twisting the torso open a little bit more. Another deep breath in. Staying for your full exhale. And inhale, slowly come up. Right arm comes beside your right hip. Left fingertips sweep overhead. Pressing down into our legs, lifting the chest and the hips. Reaching, extending, breathing. And then exhale, coming back down. Now from here, we're going to bring both legs into that bent position for Baddha Konasana, bringing the soles of the feet together, knees go out wide. Several options for you tonight. Choose an option that best serves you. If you'd like, you can find movement here right off the bat. If you'd prefer more of a static stretch, feel free to just go right into that. If you are looking for a deeper stretch in the inner thighs, draw the feet closer towards the body. If you're looking for less of a stretch there, more of a stretch in the hips or the opening, you can side the feet a little bit closer away. If you are having a hard time on your hips still or the knees, feel free to support with your props. Again, under the knees or under the seat to create some more space in the hips. Like I said, lots of options here. Choose one that works for you. You're going to take that forward folded position. Let's take a deep breath in, extending the chest or the spine rather. And on the exhale, hinging at the hips, melting forward, working to keep that strong straight spine. And then relaxing the head and the neck. This is a good place for you also to give your feet some love. Massage out the arches, the heels, the toes. When you're ready, slowly making your way back up. You can keep the feet as they are here. And then we're just going to slide them a little further away from the body and spread the feet out just a little bit so that there's some space in between them. Now bringing our hands up like we're serving up platters, we're going to scoop the hands underneath the legs, reaching towards the feet, and then relaxing the head and neck down for just a couple of breaths here, just stretching out in between the shoulder blades. Another deep breath in here. And a deep breath out. And slowly unwind, bringing the arms out. And bring your hands to your knees, closing the legs like a book. We'll step the feet to about hips width distance here. You can scoot the hips a little closer towards your feet. And then slowly lower down to your back. When you make your way down here, let's draw the knees into the chest and just rock side to side across the spine. And from here, when that feels good, we're going to replant the feet at that hip width distance. From here, we're inhaling our right leg up, creating our 90-degree angles in our knee and then our ankle here, and then crossing our leg over our right, and just actively pressing the knee away from the body here. I like to bring my hands to my belly just to feel the breath moving in and out throughout this posture. And just working that knee open. If you'd like to intensify the stretch here, just guide both legs in towards the chest, reaching behind the legs, grabbing the left thigh, and drawing the legs a little closer. From here, we're going to keep the legs as they are, extending the arms out to a T. Palms face down towards the ground. And then we're going to slowly rock the legs over to the left side, bringing that right foot down to the earth. You can keep both of your shoulders grounded and shift your gaze over your right shoulder to bring a twist all the way up through the spine. Just continue to breathe deeply. Inhale, slowly draw the legs back up, bringing the head and the gaze with. Way back to neutral. Uncross that right leg. And we'll take it to the other side. Inhaling left leg, creating our 90-degree angles. And then crossing the left leg over the right. Press the knee open. Option here again to bring the legs in closer, intensifying the stretch, grabbing hold of the back of the right leg. From here, we'll turn it into a twist, extending the arms out to the T, and then slowly bringing our legs down to our left or right side of the body, shifting the gaze to the left. Inhale, slowly come back up through neutral. And then guiding both knees into the chest and crossing the legs. Start here by just pressing the feet up towards the sky, taking legs up the wall. Option to flex or extend, point the feet, roll out the ankles while you're here. You can also grab hold of the backs of the legs or slide the palms underneath your seat for an extra support. And breathing deeply. Feeling the blood come back into the body. Maybe feeling a calmness flood the mind. As you start to feel ready, if you have your hands under your seat, slowly releasing those. Then starting to bend the knees down in towards the chest. When you make it here, reaching through the legs to grab the feet or the ankles. And taking a happy baby, opening the feet up. This is a spinal extension posture, so let the head stay grounded on the earth. Rock side to side if it feels good. Maybe straighten one leg at a time. Maybe straightening both. Letting this be a playful posture for you. And when you're ready here, releasing the feet, keeping the knees into the chest. Let's wrap our arms around the shins, lifting the shoulders, neck, and head off the mat. Squeezing everything in as tight as you can. Give yourself a giant hug here, full of love and gratitude. Take a deep breath in. And exhale to release to your final Shavasana. Arms and legs extend long. Take up space here. Extend your body up the width of your yoga mat and just breathe. Enjoying these last few moments of your class for you with yourself here. Reading now from Melody Beattie's A Journey to the Heart. Loving yourself will always make it better. Are you feeling powerless? Have circumstances taken a turn you don't like? Do you feel there's nothing you can do to make today better? One power that's always available to you is the power to love yourself. Sometimes we feel powerless. We have circumstances in our lives we simply cannot change, no matter what we do to create something different or to move the situation along. We can't get another person to behave differently. We can't seem to change something at work. We can't do much about our money situation, at least not at the moment. Nothing in our lives seems to be going our way. It's not that we're doing anything wrong. We aren't off our path or neglecting a particular lesson. The energy of what particular time in our lives is frustrating. There is no action we can take to change our circumstances. All we can do is surrender to the circumstances, accept what's happening, and stay in the moment. During those times, there is one action we can take that will help. We can love ourselves. When we can't do anything about the world around us, when we can't even seem to do much about ourselves, we can always, always love ourselves. When all other powers seem stripped away, we can practice the power of self-love. It's one power that no one can take away. Self-love will always make things better. And perhaps when a difficult time is past, you'll look back and say, that's what I was really learning all along. The ever-present healing power of learning to love myself. Again, self-love will always make things better. And perhaps when a difficult time is past, you'll look back and say, that's what I was really learning all along. The ever-present healing power of learning to love myself. With that, yogis, you are more than welcome to stay right here in Shavasana for a while longer. There's still plenty of time for you to enjoy. If you are ready to move on with your Thursday evenings, start taking some deeper inhales and exhales. Let's move the breath before we move our bodies. And starting to wiggle the fingers and toes. Nod the head from side to side. Trace your teeth with your tongue. From here, inhale the arms overhead. Take one more full body stretch. On the exhale, roll to one side. Place your head on your arm. Draw the knees in towards the chest for fetal asana. Here in fetal pose, reflect on your own practice. Extend gratitude to your body. Extend gratitude for your practice and for those here sharing their practice with you. Extend gratitude for the earth beneath you that's constantly supporting you. And finally, extend gratitude to the ancient tradition of yoga that has been shared with all of us. When you're ready, press your chest up and find a seated position facing your screen, bringing the hands into heart center. I'll meet you right here. Taking your time to transition. When you meet yourself at heart center, press the palms into one another as you press the palms into your chest. Feel that power within you. The ever-present power of learning to love myself. With hands at heart center, we cultivate peace and love in all of our actions. Bringing our hands to our lips, we cultivate peace and love in all of our words. Bringing hands up to the third eye center, the seat of our enlightenment. Peace and love in all of our thoughts, especially those towards ourselves. With that, we seal the practice, bowing forward. Namaste. Namaste, beautiful, beautiful yogis. Thank you so much for always showing up for you and showing up for this community. I am so grateful to be a part of it. Thank you for letting me guide you this evening.